Muy buenas al querido público de analisys.africa, Ejercito. Les envío saludos donde quiera que se encuentren. Entiendo que mi entrevista con el Capitán M no fue del agrado de todo el mundo, porque viene de un país que está en medio de la controversia en este momento y que lleva en medio de la controversia por muchas décadas. Pero hay algo que tenemos que hacer todos los analistas geopolíticos, incluso históricos: escuchar todas las partes. Esto no se trata de estar a favor de este o del otro. Se trata de escuchar distintas realidades. En nuestro canal vamos a escuchar a todo el mundo, sea comunista, neoliberal, conservador, de izquierda, de derecha, lo que sea. Lo que no promovemos es el odio a otras culturas y a otras razas. Si ofendí a alguien con esta entrevista, mis disculpas. Espero que puedan disfrutar de esta segunda entrevista y también que puedan disfrutar de nuestro canal. Les envío saludos y que tengan un buen día.
It's his testicles inside the plastic bag. Somebody shoved him in his nuts, and he brought him over here to try to fix him in the hospital. We also found a lot of bags of cocaine on some of the terrorists.
Really?
Yeah. So when I dropped one of the terrorists, also me and my friend, we shot him together.
What do you say to those who say that whatever happened in World War II, the 6 million, just to leave it there, we don't want to get into it. So it's all a lie. It's all fake.
But there's also evidence and non-stop books, scriptures. Also, the 3 Abrahamic Bibles say that Israel is the land of the Jewish people. People who doesn't like Israel, shit, they will believe everything you say. Literally. Because it's, serving their agenda against Israel. Simple as that. Did we help those terrorists? I can't say it was our direct will, but if some of those civilians became a terrorist a few years after, look, nobody can have control of that.
Muy buenas, chicos y chicas. Aquí tenemos otro capítulo de Análisis África y nos encontramos de nuevo con el Capitán M, parte 2. Creo que la parte 1 nos hizo unas preguntas más fuertes, pero creo que esta vez sí que entraremos en lo que se llama en fuego. Hello, Captain M. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm happy to have you here with me once again. It's not for somebody who is not familiar with Israeli people, it's not very common to talk with somebody from the special forces, because for people who are not from the area, that's like a wow thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but for us, military country, it's just a normal thing. Everybody goes to the military over here, so it's not exciting for us. It's exciting for you.
Yes, it is exciting for me. I think if I was younger, I would have joined the military, because I think it brings you like discipline, maybe.
Some of the things I would definitely do again, because it teaches you a lot, but some of the things I would definitely never do again.
Mm-hmm. And do you think... Keep going.
The desert, it's a rough place, honestly. You ever heard about a camel spider before?
No.
This little shit is the size of a grown man's palm. So we're talking about like a solid 9-inch spider, and they like to crawl inside your boots. Because it's a bit nicer over there in the open desert. And when you wake up and put your boots, you feel something is moving inside your leg. Then you see a big ass camel spider.
And does it bite you? Does it sting you? What does it do to you?
So think about it. God made a combination of a scorpion and a spider.
And Woo!
One animal. It's not toxic, but its bite is like a tarantula bite. It's really strong. You're not gonna die from that, but you will keep suffering from pain until this little fucker is dead.
And do you think every country should have like mandatory conscription or not?
Should every country have one?
Do you think every country should have it?
Honestly, if I look at it in a different perspective, if you want to establish a level of intellect among society, I think it's a good thing, because let's take a good view about the Americans. I have a great respect to a lot of my American friends, Every time I went to America, people over there, honestly, I'm sorry saying that a lot of them are dumb people. Idiots. Completely idiots. They're good in what they're doing. Like, if you want the best programmer, if you want the best doctor, physician, they are fucking crazy. But anything other than the topic they're, like, interesting at, they're complete dumb. No knowledge, bro.
That's very true. That's very true. Americans are very just focused on their craft, and they don't know anything outside of it.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
a
think,
box.
yes, it's a box. I think in my humble opinion, many countries should have a mandatory military, at least 1 or 2 years, because the youth is lost these days. The youth is just lost.
I can see it too. Like, I remember when I finished my service and went to the gym, and I saw a lot of kids over there, like little shits, like they occupying the machines. They like, all the gym bros are on the one machine, then they're looking in the mirror, bro, and it's just pain in the ass to even start working out. But 4 years after, those little shits joined the military, and they're like, they're different people right now.
Oh, of course, man. Let's start with the first topic. Tell us about how did you get into the special forces, and what is the training like in the special forces, please? If you can give us like not confidential details, but
Okay, so I was a fat kid when I was 16, 17. We talking about like 145 kilos?
wow.
Yeah. First of all, that wasn't fun by that way. Secondly, in the 2014 war, I lost two friends. Like, the story behind it, one of the guys was in my school from my hometown. And one afternoon during the summer, I met him. We started talking. He told me he's in the army and I should join, like, army fitness clubs to train. And I listened to the guy, of course. I went to the fitness club like 2 days after. I met another guy. Amazing guy. The dude also was in the army. He was in the same special forces unit I served at. And he pushed me throughout the training that day. And he told me, yeah, brother, you can do it. You're strong. Believe in yourself. 4 days after, I woke up. Their faces in the news. Both of those guys died in the 2014 operation.
What happened in 2014?
We had a Operation Protective Edge in Gaza Strip. It was like the first biggest, movement against Hamas. And both of those guys died that day, same day. Literally, I met them on the same day, and a few days after, they died on the same day. So something in that story caught me really bad and like pushed me to like, I have to continue their way. Like it's not a coincidence. I have to push the same way they did. And year and a half after, my training was gym, running on sand, a lot of food. We're talking about like chicken, rice, vegetables, six days a week. I joined the military, and my world split it around. Like it was a complete different thing than I thought on the first day. Honestly, the first day I cried. You're not a person. You're not a name. You're a number. I was number 34. And the situation they put you at, it's a lot of pressure, unfamiliar pressure. And the hardest thing you feel is that sense of unknown. You don't even know what's going to happen a minute from now. And this was the first week of the trials. When I already got drafted, every soldier had an option to join the special forces of his brigade. And it was one of the hardest weeks I ever had in my life. Shortage of time. Everything is under pressure. Everything is unknown. You want to go to the bathroom? You have like 3 minutes to finish. You want an extension? You have to request somebody of your friends to go to the commander and ask, this guy needs extension to the bathroom. A lot of things you're not familiar with, you're not recognized with. It's literally one day you're an 18-year-old kid, finished high school. And the second day, you're in the military, you're shaved, your head went down, you're in a uniform, you have a dock tag, you have heavy-ass boots, and now you have responsibility. That's a bit of it.
So when you went to your first to the first, let's say, recruitment place, you told them straight away you wanted to join the special forces.
Yeah, they ask you if you're interested because in the combat units in the IDF, every combat unit have their special forces. Like, you know, the Marines have the Marine Raiders, the Navy have the Navy SEALs. Also in Israel, every brigade and every brand have his own special forces. So when you join to the combat units, you can go to like to the regular combat soldiers or the special forces. And of course, they ask you if you're interested, because they also have to give you all the knowledge, all the information about when the trials are starting, and also what you have to prepare with yourself.
And how do you do it in those tryouts for the special forces? How do you do it? Do you
First
do
of all,
well?
we'll start at the beginning. It's a doctor checks. So if you're healthy and everything is good, you're getting to the next phase. There's like the fitness test. It's like running 3 kilometers under 12 minutes. We don't do pull-ups in the IDF. We do a lot of push-ups and sit-ups. Pull-ups, I don't know why they have like some kind of a decision that pull-ups is dangerous for your shoulders. I don't know if it's true or not. I think it's bullshit, but you know, like for me, it's easier. Better than push-ups, of course. I passed that, and then we started Hell Week. And by the name, you can understand this shit was hell.
Can you tell us a bit of Hell Week? If you don't have to go into detail, don't. But can you tell us how was it?
Yeah, of course. This is not confidential. You can find it online. So, the first 2 weeks, you don't go home, of course. Like what happens, they separate from the regular soldiers to the ones that goes to the special forces tryouts. You get all your gear, the vest, you know, shovel, your back, a camelback, if you know what it is. It's like a small shit you put in your backpack. You pull the water inside of it. It's technically like extra weight. You get glasses, hats, helmet, 6 full magazines, and a rifle. And this sense of unknown kicks from the beginning, because they woke up us in the middle of the morning and told us the trial's beginning right now. But technically, we started the trials like almost 18 hours after, in the middle of the evening. So this is one. You never know what's going to happen next. So they jump scare our asses while we were sleeping. They gave us like all the gear. They brought us to a point with like a steep hill. You know what's a dune? Sand dune?
Of course.
So they gave us bags full of sand and told us, start running on the dune back and forward. And then somebody asked how many times? Until we decide it's enough. And I swear in God, we were running on that dunes for like 45 minutes straight, nonstop. We finished that. You think it's over? Nah, we're going to the next station. You see a big ass fucking field of sand, and you see there's like a line in the end of it. So we thought we're gonna sprint that shit. Nope. The commander told us, okay, everybody drop your bags and lay down on the ground. Start crawling. How long? Until I decide it's enough. And throughout that period, people are dropping because it was too hard for them. Honestly, crawling is the hardest thing I ever had.
I've done crawling. I mean, you mean like bear crawl, right?
Yeah, with your nipples on the floor, with your sleeves rolled up, so your elbows would feel the sand and the rocks. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Like if you were a snake.
Honestly, I see snakes. They have a better time than me.
For how long do you do that?
Honestly, I lost track of time, but it was at least like 30 laps. Each lap took me like 2 minutes. So we're talking about a full hour of crawling in the middle of the night.
And that's for the whole Hell Week, or you have different?
Okay, so that's only for the first night. The day after, they play like a lot of tricky mind games with you. They give you like a book of, different topics, random ass topics, like why is the sky blue, or why fucking giraffes have tall necks. Like each and one of us got a different topic. You stand all day long with your face pointing to the wall, and you have to learn the topic. Out of nowhere, they can call you, like number 34, come in. And I remember my topic was why giraffes have fucking long necks. I had to learn that shit. I got inside a dark room. They started like jumping jacks and running in place, sprinting outside the class and back, asking me the questions about the topic I've learned. They fucking playing mind games with me. They want to see how accurate you are, your agility, your adjustment to different maneuvers in different situations. And this is during the day, because during the day it was really hot. It's desert. So they cannot fuck you up, because they don't want nobody lose his conscience, dehydrated. The day in the middle of the night, everything that happened the night before happens again. But here it's a different game. They already put you in your bed after a shower. You're already gonna think, I'm gonna sleep, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. They give you 1 hour sleep, then they wake you up again to do the same shit you did the day before.
So you barely have any sleep.
No, Hell Week, they give you the bare minimum between 1 and 2 hours a night, and you start all over again.
So how long does it take from the moment you try out from the special forces to the moment you make it? How long does it take?
Until you become an operator? Are we talking
So-
like 60 months?
6 to 10 months. So it's 1 hour and it's 1 year and a half of hell.
Yeah, but throughout time, when you get more responsibility, and trust you, the strictness goes a bit down and down. Like every time we used to go home, just as like a punishment for the dumb shit we used to do every day. Even if one of our guys did dumb shit, we all got fucking like collective punishment. So from our base to the specific point on the map, it was like a 15-minute bus ride. They made us bring our arms above our heads and wait for like that for a full 15 minutes. And if somebody dropped his arms down, 15 minutes again.
Oh,
After 4 months, when they already got the trust, they told us, okay, now everybody's going to do dumb shit. He's going to be punished individually.
oh, okay.
And I got punished individually a lot.
For doing dumb shit.
Yeah, like I saw my commander like eating, eating, it was like in the dining room. He looked at me, he laughed, and I laughed too. And I say something, bon appetit. He looked at me, he's like, okay, no problem. He woke me up in the middle of the night. He's like, yo. I'm like, what happened? You remember your dumb shit you did this morning? I was, okay, it's time to pay for that. He gave me like 2 minutes to put my uniform on. He told me he's waiting for me outside. I came outside. I saw the dude with a chem stick. You know what's a chem stick?
No.
It's like a piece of plastic you break and it starts glows in green.
Okay. Yeah.
So he took like a small string and a rock, started twisting it. He threw it over there and he told me, okay, now go grab it. And I start running towards that shit. And he told, no. Go grab it, but crawl to it. And we're talking about like a solid 120 meters of crawling on rocks and shit.
Man, and in those 16 weeks, when is Hell Week? At the beginning or at the end?
In the beginning, because in their perspective, it's like if you pass the hardest thing in your first few days, you can stand with everything they're going to throw at you.
So what about if you don't pass the Hell Week or you don't pass the Special Forces selection? You go back to the normal army, right?
Yeah, you go back to the normal combat units. But it's not only about going back. Like a lot of people, like mentally, it's too hard for them. A lot of people, have girlfriends, and the girlfriends are a pain in the ass. I don't see you too much. You don't come home, shit like that. So a lot of them break to the pressure and leave the unit because they get outside pressure. Some of them get injured. A lot of us had shin splits and injuries in our shoulders and our backs. I still got a back injury up to this day. So, it's part of the things you have to go with.
I see. And when you pass that those 16 months, now you feel like you're ready to take whatever they bring to you, right?
You always have that feeling, honestly. You feel like a ninja. You feel like God, honestly, because you pass 16 weeks of like crazy ass training, and you see your homies around you. You're like, as a team, as a unit, we are gangsters. Nothing can stop us. But sometimes reality show you different shit.
Yeah. You said 16 weeks, 16 months, right? 16 months to be in.
Yeah, but I meant 16 weeks because the last 4 months are the crucial ones. Everything is high speed. Everything is like, if everything wasn't pressure until now, everything is with pressure even more. Eating time. You have only 7.5 minutes eating. and you have to do it while somebody's covering you. So if it's like there's a team of 20 soldiers, 10 are eating, 10 are covering, and after 7.5 minutes, you guys change, and those who ate covering and those who covered ate. Everything did by like crazy amount of pressure.
And after you finish the selection, for how long is your break?
There's no break, honestly. You just in
You don't go
Israeli
home?
army. In Israeli army, you go home once every 3 weeks for like 2 days, only for Friday and Saturday, until you finish your training. And throughout the middle of my training, after 9-10 months, they start giving us like also Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays every 2 or 3 weeks.
So when you pass and you're already in special forces officially, they don't tell you to okay, go home for like 2 weeks or
Because
10 days.
They give you like 10 days, but it's only like, we can go to that topic really deep, but there's like a lot of protocols in the IDF is like, you can have 10 days over here, or you can sign a few days off. It works like, yeah, of course, if you, after you finish your training, you get like 10 days off, but from that moment until the rest of your service, you go out every like 1 week for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes you don't go out if the situation doesn't give you the opportunity to go back home. It all depends on what's happening around us.
And while you were preparing for the special forces, did you go to any mission?
No, because you're not operator yet, so you're not fully ready for that. While you're preparing for the special forces, it's all about training and perfecting your performance. After this 1 year and 4 months, literally the 10 days after you finish your training, you can go everywhere they want you to go. Everywhere.
And can you tell us where they took you or not?
So my first mission, my biggest mission, was back in 2017. The civilian war in the Syrian part of the world, in Syria. We, on the border of Israel and Syria, there's a lot of small villages, Halawis, Druze, that are really like, regular civilians. And a lot of them during the winter of 2017, I used to be one of the special forces who used to guide those civilians inside Israel and give them treatments in Israeli hospitals and then bring them back to the Syrian side of the border.
So you guys were treating Syrian people in Israeli hospitals.
Yeah, and I saw some hard shit over there. It was literally my first drop of action. Like I saw kids with no eyes, with no arms. I literally saw one. It's funny. So sorry I'm saying like that, but one day I saw a dude one of the nights coming on a donkey. He came off the donkey and he held a plastic bag in his hand. And I asked my translator, why is with a plastic bag? He talked to them. He was shocked. And I yo, bro, what he told you? It's his testicles inside the plastic bag. Somebody shot him in his nuts and he brought him over here to try to fix him in the hospital. I was fucking shocked then. I was like, what the fuck? The dude doesn't have balls.
But that happened in 2017 during the civil war in Syria.
Yeah. And it came nonstop for like 3-4 months. Also, you can check about it. It's called Operation Good Neighbors.
So you guys were helping the Syrian civilians.
Yeah.
But there are those who say that many of those opposition terrorists in Syria were funded by Israel and they were getting treated in Israeli hospitals.
You can, honestly, it can go 50-50. Like we did it for the sakes of one day if the government will change in Syria. So the people we helped with could remember us for a good cause, that we truly want peace with them. If some of those now are acting in act of terror, think about it. First of all, it's on auto control. Secondly, a lot of them like against the Assad regime. So they hated Assad. But nobody promised me, as a dude who did it, they will go peacefully also with the people who live over there. I did something in the act of kindness and thought of they need help right now. And a lot of those people were like kids, elderly, women. I also treated a situation, a lot of them have been attacked by mustard gas by their own government. I still remember the kids sitting in the back of a truck twitching, their eyes are like small. They call it pin sight. It's like the black part of your eye is so small, it looks like a little pin. They sweat a lot. They twitch. Shit that you don't even believe people can do.
But I heard other political analysts say that Israel treated those terrorists in their hospitals, knowing
And
that they're terrorists.
In the last few years, I can 100% tell you it haven't happened. Back in 2017, if one of those so-called civilians, let's say, in that situation became a terrorist, you cannot control this situation. You never know what let's say it was a 50-year-old kid who lost his mom or also got attacked by the Assad regime. Now he's old enough to revenge what happened to him almost 8 years ago. Nobody know what path he will take.
Yeah, but what I mean is that Israeli willingly took terrorists to their hospitals.
No, I definitely can tell you. It's one of those guys that took the operations. It wasn't terrorists, it was civilians. If they were terrorists, they were dressed really good, they were acting really good. No clue of... You can't look and say and somebody is a terrorist, So you never know. We did it in the act of kindness and people on the border needed us.
What do you say to those who say that Israel funds terrorism?
Look, today, internet is a big place. I can say aliens came and fucking, visit me in my house. Is it true? It's so easy to start like a spark of bullshit information and let it roll. And some people will believe it and some people won't believe it. People who doesn't like Israel, shit, they will believe everything you say. Literally. Because it's, serving their agenda against Israel. Simple as that. Did we help those terrorists? I can't say it was our direct will, but if some of those civilians became a terrorist a few years after, look, nobody can have control of that, honestly.
Because what are some of the arguments? You see these terrorist groups all over the Middle East, but they say why they never attack Israel.
Because in the region over here right now, we are the only country of like real power, real Western support. And I think in the Middle East, sorry I'm saying, but you have to know how to speak Arabic. This is a term in our country. Arabic means like if somebody throws a rock at your window, you're gonna take off his fucking wall. And they saw what happened in the last wars we had with with Egypt, with Jordan, with Syria in the past years. And they did their own math and they realized, should we take the risk of poking the dragon or not?
Yes, but you also wonder why they never attack Israel though.
Because their funding is nothing to compare to the funds that we have. The only Hezbollah have a lot of funding, and they also get backed by Iran, so they have the balls to attack Israel. Hamas backed by Iran, and they have a lot of fundings. They have the balls to attack Israel. A lot of those terrorists around us. It's like we're talking about a few thousands. It's non-settled down armies. It's like it's like small cells of terrorists. What they want to do something else. Now their mission is not to attack Israel. Now their mission is, I don't know, take the political side in the government in Syria, what they did a few months ago, or like do the revolution in Egypt. Their mission in the end of the day will be attacking Israel if we are not going to stop them right now.
But they also said that ISIS was funded by Israel.
Yeah, they also say Osama bin Laden was made by America. It's all good, but are those people can bring any evidence for that?
I mean, I think the evidence is that they never attack Israel. Do you think so?
Good. I know a lot of times they attacked Israel, but nobody heard about it in the news. If you prevented attack and nobody heard about it, you did a good job.
That ISIS attacked Israel inside the territory, inside Israeli territory.
2011, ISIS terrorists in the border of Egypt and Israel. They kidnapped a tank from the Egyptian army, drove inside the Israeli territory. Their tank got bombed by the Israeli Air Force like 10 minutes after. They killed 2 SWAT operators and a few civilians on the main road. You can check. The only time they truly tried, those was the ISIS operators. Or you have few dead cells of the ISIS inside Israel. The latest attack was in 2022. They killed 2 civilians and 2 border police officers.
Okay, because you think, okay, all these extremist Islamic groups, what they want is like a big caliphate, and they don't like Israel. So why do they don't unite to attack Israel? Do you think it's because Israel funds them?
I don't think so. Honestly, I can tell you something. Israel maybe have money, but they don't have money for funding terrorists around us. Honestly, it's
You,
think about it as a Jewish perspective. You know, we like to save money. We don't like to give money away.
yes, but it's still, I would say that maybe Israel funds terrorism to keep the whole Middle East in trouble or on fire while they're at peace themselves.
If that happens, I can honestly tell you it's not something I ever heard of or
Because,
witnessed.
because I've heard that many of these terrorists are trained by the Mossad.
No, the only thing I can tell you, we did funded Iran when they had the war with Iraq in the 70s. I know we supported them with like firearms, technology, and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they lost. I know with some locals, for us, I don't know, like, I know we support with training, not with gear. I know we supported the Iraqi Peshmerga, the ones who fight against the Iraqi regime. I know we trained few rebel groups in Syria, trained, but I never heard about funding, like, physically funding, giving money or doing something of those kinds.
And why does Israel fund rebel groups? They are terrorists. Why does Israel fund them?
Also, sometimes from a goodwill, some days when the government will change, those people remember that we helped them. And in the end of the day, you have regimes around you that hate you. And in their countries, you have people, civilians, who also get hit and killed all the time. So if you find a good perspective, okay, we can help those groups, and we're going to have allies inside of those countries. That one day we will need help, they will come and help us back.
The new government in Syria, I heard
I
they
get
were also funded by Israel, these terrorist groups, and they're openly, I mean, they're willing to talk to Israel,
They
even
open,
though
honestly, we did help them, but not funded. The attack we started when the regime fell, like when Israel raided a few of the spots inside Syria, fully destroyed the Syrian Navy and Air Force. That gave him a good breakdown for like taking over the country. This is the only thing we truly did that by the end of the day helped them.
but why would you help a terrorist group?
Because first of all, the Syrian army was a broken army. Give this broken army and leave behind the tools, the airplanes, the tanks, the helicopters this army has, and put it inside the hands of a terrorist. You have to do your own math. You want to leave that gear behind, or you want to destroy it? Of course, we destroy it, and it helped the terrorists take over the country. It's better option than not destroy it, wait until the terrorists will take the country, and then they will have all those gears and equipment against us.
I see the point, but I don't think that. I think the terrorists and Israel, I think personally, they're working together.
Who knows? Maybe yes, maybe not. I physically never encountered like me working with a terror group or me, supporting or providing any help to a terror group directly or non-directly. If it
They,
is something that happened, I can tell you it's above my pay grade.
they say also Hamas was partly funded by Israel and Qatar. It's
Here,
true.
here, here is where the difference goes in. It's true.
Why does Israel fund Hamas?
So from 2005, when we left the Gaza Strip, they had an inside conflicts between them. The PIJ, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Hamas has an inside wars, conflicts who will take government over the Gaza Strip. 2006, Hamas took over. They were controlling the Gaza Strip. 2014, we had a war. Wars ended. The governmental perspective about it, we need settle peace. We need to open more job opportunities. Okay, when people are lacking of food, lacking of money, they will do extreme stuff to get what they want. So we came out of a mistake. I can tell you it was the biggest mistake we ever did. We thought Hamas, by that time, is not going to build itself like the size of Hezbollah. So our point of view was more Hezbollah and less Hamas. And what Hamas asked for is money, create job opportunities. But in the end of the day, it's came in a different way. This is how they funded their car, tunnel, metro on the ground. This is how they provided themselves with the tools for education and sending their operatives in training overseas in Iran and study in universities, starting engineers and that like that. This is the biggest mistake we ever did. Looking at the dragon, I think it's like a paper dragon, but it became a big threat. What happened in 2023 on October 7th. And this is our biggest mistake because we thought if we give peace, we will get peace.
But don't you think that, let's say, the Israeli intelligence funded or helped Hamas just to legitimize the state of Israel? Because if you guys have Islamic terrorism all over the area, people
But
will
at the end
think
of the
that
day, they keep firing at us no matter what. Even during the time they were not with war with us, they always shot rockets. So it goes against that point. Secondly, that day a lot of intelligence operators of the Israeli side killed. So if this was the Israeli intelligence intention, they lost a lot of people too.
Okay, well, one point before we go to the October 7th. But what I mean is that the Israel funds all this terrorism of Hamas because to the world it portrays that there needs to be a Jewish state because look at all these Arabs and all these Muslims killing each other or that want to kill us. Let's protect ourselves in Israel.
Look, if that shit was really the plan, I think we're kind of failing at that because people hate us more than they usually hate. People are more anti-Semitic than they usually are. If that was the plan, it's not working, I can tell you that.
Okay, let's go for the October 7th. How was that day for you before anything happened? How was that day for you, for your colleagues? How was it?
So the day before that, I was home. We went out to a club. Everything was chill. 6:29, the first alarm. It wasn't unusual. Literally, it was like you used to the fact you have alarms. Oh, the last biggest time we had alarms was 2021. This came out of nowhere. And you try to look at the news, there's still nothing says that something is happening. The first, any kind of news about the terrorists are inside Israel came around 7:15, 7:20 that day. And then shit started hitting the fan and went all over.
And that day on October 7th, were you back home or were you at the border where everything happened?
I was home. I started working around 7, so my shift I had to go work during the rockets falling everywhere. We arrived, we start settling down, and then the news started coming that terrorists got inside Israel. And we opened Telegram, and this is where I saw all the shitstorm.
And you and your unit got called to the front, right?
My unit was called last because I'm reservist by that time already. A lot of mandatory soldiers being called first, and a lot of reservists from different units came first. So my first action caught me in Tel Aviv. We were on shift, and we got a police call that there's terrorists inside Tel Aviv, 4 of those motherfuckers. So technically what happened, they look, if you look them at first glance, nothing, it will say they're Arabs. We're talking about guys with blonde hair, blue eyes. 4 of those fuckers, they came to the border, they stole a car, they took the license plates off, and they drove all the way to Tel Aviv. The only thing they forgot to take were weapons. They probably have been told by their operators, okay, steal a car, go to the Tel Aviv area, and start shooting people. But those idiots realized they cannot go with weapons, so they probably dropped their weapons behind. They got to Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is empty, everybody at their homes, and they don't have any weapons to do what they do. And we caught them off guard over there in the middle of the streets. They've been arrested. And this is not the first story. There's a lot of untold stories of terrorists that did all the way to the center part of Israel that day.
So you were not in Gaza. You were in the Tel Aviv area that day.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, there are those who say that October 7th was planned by the Mossad, and the Mossad knew in advance.
Nothing that I heard of. I know there was like few things that happened the night before, like the head of the Security Council already saw different things happening around 4:30, and nobody saw like any rallying up of terrorists going inside Israel. But other than that, I found around that time. I arrived to the Gaza border around 4:30 afternoon.
On October 7th or another day?
October 7th. My first part of the day was in Tel Aviv, and when they cleared the roads, we got there by 4:30, something that area.
Because they said that the Egyptian and I think other intelligences or other intelligence agencies like the Turkish, maybe Jordanian, said to Israel, "Hey, this might happen October 7th," but
Yeah,
the
I heard
Mossad
about
didn't
it.
release it.
I heard about it, yeah.
Do you
I
think
heard
that's
about
true?
it. I think it's true. You see, it
Why,
happened.
why didn't the Mossad listen then?
I think where sometimes our services, intelligence services, think they are bigger than and smarter than everybody else, and they thought they're trying to trick us or fool us or like give us false information. And the intelligence services responded, by the way, they only sent like 10, 15 operators to the border. And that's it. This is enough firepower to send over there in that moment. If they thought that shit is real, they should send more. They did the bare minimum and sent only 10, 15 operators. That's it.
Because they attacked the people in a concert, if I remember well, right?
Nova Festival, yeah.
So I heard they put the Nova Festival, that festival, like 20 kilometers closer or whatever.
No, so the Nova Festival got approved literally 4 months before that. In the same area. Why it's happened over there? Because this is literally the only open area in that area that doesn't bother the settlements around. Because there's a lot of settlements over there, like religious settlements. And you don't want to put a music festival on a Friday night before the Saturday of the most religious holiday of the Jewish religion. So the only place they found, it's an open area. It's almost 6.5 or almost 7 kilometers from the Gaza Strip.
So they got drawn closer to the Gaza Strip.
They've been moved a few times, but in the end of the day, the area the festival decided to be happening, this decision came 4 months before, even 5 months before the festival itself.
I see. Plus, also I've heard that many of the hostages are not civilians, are like people in the army and special forces, intelligence forces. Is it true?
Okay, look about like that. There have been few soldiers kidnapped from bases. That's one. Don't forget that most of people in Israel served in the army in one point of their lives. That's number two. So they can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, yeah, if they kidnapped Israelis, the majority of them did serve in the military. But the question is, if they kidnapped those people, were they service people or were they already civilians or finished their service a few years ago and now they're considered as civilians? Because of course they kidnapped. I still have a kidnapped friend in Gaza Strip. His name is Bar. He's a good guy. He was in the IDF a year before he got kidnapped. He was working as a bodyguard in the concert. And he didn't have any military insignia on him. He was only wearing a black short, jeans, and a little badge on his saying his name and saying Nova Producer. That people know he works for the Nova Festival organization, and he got kidnapped. And his video was the first videos that had been shown on the Telegram of him being handcuffed in a tunnel.
So the people they kidnapped were not civil. They were all civilians. No.
Mostly. Yeah, everybody were soldiers in their part of their life, but you cannot kidnap and say he's a soldier because he was a soldier like 2 or 3 years ago.
There are those who call Hamas a resistance group. What do you think?
Bullshit. Bullshit. Resistance needs to go in a different way. You remember Gandhi?
Yeah.
How did he resist it to the Brits?
Yeah, but I will tell you this. When the Germans invaded France, there were armed groups that were resisting the Nazis.
Yeah, I know. A lot of partisans also happened in Ukraine, also happened in Russia. People who fought the Nazis in forests. By the end of the day, you have to know who are they resisting to the people or to the military. If that day Hamas would have taken only military outposts, I will say, you know what? Okay, it's rifle to rifle. But as soon as they passed the military outposts on the Gaza Strip, they went inside the settlements. They went house to house. They killed civilians. They went to the party. They kidnapped people and murdered people in the party. Is that
resistance, killing people, unarmed people?
But also, there are those who say that if it didn't happen on October 7th, it would have happened in one way or another, because when you put pressure on something, all it comes is an explosion.
Yeah, I said it too right now. But in the end of the day, they have to decide what they prefer. Their people alive or starting this war. Because if we truly wanted to destroy Gaza Strip and kill everybody over there, why would we send troops inside? We can just use planes nonstop and keep dropping bombs until everybody over there are dead. Everybody.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everything we're doing right now is because they made us to do this move, and we have hostages over there. We need them back. Truly, if we didn't care about the hostages, we will keep bombing the Gaza Strip nonstop, from the air, from the land, and the sea, and not sending even one soldier on ground, not even one.
But there are those who say that what Hamas is doing is resisting the Jewish invasion of Israel, of Palestine.
Okay, so now if they call it resistance, they're experiencing our resistance to them. Head by head, toe by toe, how you say in the Bible, tooth by tooth. They decided they want to resist us, okay, we resist back. Simple and clear.
But what about if they say we resist them because this is our land?
Okay, let's put it like that. Where is the sexiest place of Muslims in the world?
I think it's in Jerusalem, maybe?
No, Saudi Arabia, Mecca.
Ah, yeah, Mecca. Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, it's almost 90+% of Muslim people and Arabs, right?
Yeah.
There's constrictions, there's old books, there's testimonies that saying this is the place where Islam started, right? No doubt about it. Everybody respect it. But there's also evidence and non-stop books, scriptures. Also, the 3 Abrahamic Bibles say that Israel is the land of the Jewish people. And there's non-stop proofs that this is the Jewish people. In the end of the day, the name of the place was Palestine, but there was never a governor in Israel that was controlled by Arabs. There was Romans, there was Turks, and there was the Brits and the closest Arabs to us. There was never a solid solo state of Palestine that was controlled by the Arabs who lives in Israel by that time. Never. You can check the books, you can keep it controlling. Yeah, there were Arabs living in Israel, that's of course. But were they controlling the country, having a government? No, they never controlled it. They lived there, but they never controlled that area.
But apparently after the British left, they wanted to take control of their country.
So also, you probably heard the 1948 partition plan, right? In 48, they took the land and participated in 2 parts, one for the Arabs, one for the Jews. And yes, technically, this is the leftovers of the West Bank and Gaza Strip to this days. Of course, we took more territory in war, because you cannot start a war and then, oh, guys, okay, we lost. Let's forget about the war. Let's bring everything to back. No, it's not going to happen. You guys started a war. There's consequences to the move you guys did.
Yes, but you had the Nakba where the Arabs were kicked out of their country. Plus,
Okay, so why then the Nakba started in 48? They called the Nakba the date Israel is created. In those times, Arabs were still in Israel. You know why Arabs been kicked?
why?
Only the Arabs in the areas that the Arabs decided to work against the Jews and start a war, they were kicked from there. Arabs' villages decided not to work and start fighting with the Jews are still in Israel up to this day. You have a lot of Arab villages inside Israel. Tulkarm, the biggest Arab settlement inside of the middle part of Israel. Down south, you have Bedouins, a big city called Rahat. Those Bedouins never been displaced from Israel. They're still living in Israel, and they have all they have Israeli ID, they have Israeli passport. But let me ask you like this: can you tell me who's Palestinian or who's a regular Arab? You probably won't be able to differentiate, right?
Yeah.
So this is fact number one. How could we kick all the Palestinians if everybody looks the same? We only kick the ones who started war with us. That's number one. The proof for that is the fact that Israel is built from 25% Muslims and still lives here. Why they weren't kicked? Simple as that, because they decided not to put their arms against the Jews.
I mean, I believe they were okay with the Jews coming to Palestine.
And that's why nobody had a war with them, nobody had a beef with them, and that's why they're still here. The Arabs who lived in that land, who decided to work with the Egyptian, Jordanian, Syrian, and also was the Moroccan army back in that day. Yeah, you guys lost. This is the punishment. Leave the land. Nobody told you to leave before the War of 48.
But because when the Jews moved to Israel in 1940, I mean, there were already Jews there, but the vast majority of Jews moved to Israel. The ones that made everything happen, they were moving from Poland.
Yeah, but Jews, don't forget the Jews were being kicked. Yeah, Jews being kicked from the land almost 2,000 years ago, and they spread it all over. Let's take it like this. You have a Palestinian who has been, I don't know, kicked back in 48. Isn't he still Palestinian if he lives in the States right now?
Yes.
But his family probably already married. He probably married with an American girl. His kids are half Palestinian, half American. Does he mean he's not Palestinian?
Yes, but you mean to tell me that those Jews that left 2,000 years ago are the same ones that came from Poland?
Ancestors, yeah. Ancestors. Roll-ups, a lot of ancestors. You know, my grandma, she was born in Ukraine. It's 4 hours flight away from Israel. You can see that Jews never went far. They only, if the separation of Jews, it's all across the ocean. Europe is only 4 hours flight. Back in the days, yeah, it was using ships. But you see, it's never far away. It's never in the Asian part of the world. It's never in China. It's never in Japan. It's never in Thailand. The big majority was to the closest spot after the ocean, and this is Europe, mistakenly, but it's Europe. And don't forget, those countries 2,000 years ago, there wasn't any Poland, there wasn't any Sweden, there wasn't any Britain, there wasn't any Italy. There was a big part that wasn't even named Europe. Throughout the years, throughout the centuries, it became Europe.
Yes, but for me, it's hard to believe that somebody that comes from Belarus, from Hungary, Romania, Poland, is the same person, is the same people that left 2,000 years ago, apparently.
Look, ethnically, shit changed because the local Jewish people over there married with the local Jewish people over there. Throughout the years, you know, life changed. You know, there's the prehistoric thing of life. You get adapted to the situation because what's differentiate then between Europeans and Middle Easterns? The fact that Europe have a lot of rain, less sun, and people over there are whiter. In the Middle East, people are darker. There's a sunny place. This is a sunny region, hot region. As I told you, let's say a Palestinian who moved to America 300 years ago, married with an American girl. Now he's half American, half Palestinian. He doesn't look like a Palestinian. He's white. His kids are white, blue eyes. They have American accent. Aren't they still considered Palestinians? This is how things happen. For our situation, it happened way longer years ago, 2,000 years ago. Do you ask if there's any proof to the fact this place was Jewish land? Pennies, letters, I forgot to say museum shit they collect, archaeologists and stuff like that. Just backs it off and prove that.
So all those people in Poland and Romania and Hungary and Eastern Europe and Belarus, they send letters back to Palestine or to Israel or to whatever?
Did they send?
Yeah, did they send letters to their family there?
If they have family, I guess they did. My grandma had a family, Tel Aviv is older than Israel. Israel is 77, Tel Aviv is like more than 120 years. Tel Aviv was established before Israel established. This was the first Jewish community in Israel. And my grandma had relatives in Israel. She was living in Ukraine. Because not all of the Jews left Israel back in the day.
So your final verdict is that Israel is not an illegal state, it's not an occupied place.
No, because the same thing that people bring facts from the UN, forget that the same UN legally supported the fact that Israel stood established. So people counterpart themselves for the thing they say. You guys say you're not a legal state, but the UN in 48 gave us the opportunity to finally build our state. We did everything by the book. They give us the opportunity to come back. What else should we do?
But also, when the Jews move back to Israel, to Palestine, Israel, they move also with a political agenda to buy property and make it their own land.
Definitely, some of them did it, and somebody did paid for that. But in the first few years, nothing of that did violently. Nothing of that been, done like, forcefully. After the war of 48, yeah, everything done forcefully and violently. I'm not gonna lie, facts are facts. There was war and the independence war. Shit was crazy. War is crazy. This is the like what you're doing, and after what you did, you have to face the consequences. And those are the consequences.
Because also you guys had a lot of support from the banks to create a Jewish homeland. Like it was all planned. It didn't happen because of what happened in World War II. Like a Jewish state was planned.
No. What happened during the outcome of the World War, a lot of Jews do get a lot of support from around the world. Can I tell you what's the banks? I don't know. I don't think none of us would live back in the day to prove that. But the outcome of what happened in World War II, that's what made my grandma come back to Israel. Was pure hate. Blind hate. When the Germans made the border to Ukraine, they did some crazy shit. My grandma had to change her Jewish last name so she's not going to be recognized.
What do you say to those who say that whatever happened in World War II, the 6 million, just to leave it there, we don't want to get into it. So it's all a lie. It's all fake.
It's not even our proofs. It's the Germans, the Nazi. Germans, they're really organized people. The best engineers you ever will find in the world came from Germany. Everything they did, everything they operated, everything they, maneuvered, everything was documented to the details. Every name, every place, amount of people, who worked, who died. And up to this day, you have most of the names. You have 4.5 million names in a little museum in Israel called Yad Vashem. You have 4.5 million names already discovered. You have photos. You have family members who identify their family members, the ones who died in the concentration camps, the one who died in the execution camps. This is the proof you have.
Because those who study that topic against the mainstream view, they get locked up or they get in real trouble. That's why I don't want to, what do you think that is for?
There's a rule in Germany. You cannot, decline the Holocaust. And this is the darkest part of the German history. Also in Israel, you cannot decline the Holocaust. You have Holocaust survivors with numbers on their arms. You know how the numbers were did?
How?
The same way you burn cows. I cannot give you more proof than that, but if people truly want, come to Israel. Talk with Holocaust survivors.
Yes.
See their stories.
I mean, those people don't say that it didn't happen, but they just say that the numbers are not accurate. It was less than 6 million.
Look, up till now, those people can say whatever they want. They don't have proofs. Our side does have proofs. The German government provided all the documents the Nazi ever had, fully published their documents, and you have names. The fact that you have amount of Jews before World War II, and the fact that you have less amount of Jews after World War II, fully support that what happened over there.
Because there are also those who say that the Jewish elites participated with the Nazis for it to happen. So it creates like a whole refugee crisis, and you guys go to Israel. You think that's true?
I honestly, first time I hear about that.
Well, that is a school of thought for some people. That's why I said I have to be really careful with what I say, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to, let's say, go to Israel to have a nice time and then get arrested or locked up.
No, nobody will look at that. Don't worry. The border control is the same border control you have all around the world. Yeah, it's strict, but if you clean, nothing will happen to you.
You've been to Lebanon. You've done a couple of missions.
Mm-hmm.
How are some of the things that you've seen and you experienced? If you can tell us about it.
Okay, so I already told you about the Druze and the Syrian civilians on the border of Syria. That's number one. October 7th, throughout the day, like I told you in the previous thing, a lot of the terrorists was dressed as IDF soldiers. Same kind of uniform, same color, OD green color. And the only thing was distinguishing between us and them, the fact that they have AK-47s and we don't. And a lot of the action happened that day, and I found myself using AK-47, and shit was insane, you know? Like, you're afraid to get shot from every possible direction, but you want to stay alive, you shoot everywhere, and you just see a swarms of terrorists coming at you non-stop. They are not afraid to die. They are not afraid to die. We also found a lot of bags of cocaine on some of the terrorists.
Really?
Yeah. So when I dropped one of the terrorists, also me and my friend, we shot him together, he was jumping for like 5 minutes straight, and his eyeballs was completely open and wide. And of course, after the battle ended, you need to collect the casualties, our side and their side. And we found, first of all, a lot of ammunition, grenades, magazines, AK-47s, RPGs, RPG-7, RPG-9, AMs, and a lot of small bags of white material that have been found out as a CBM cocaine.
And how many people were dropped on their side?
That day, almost 6,000 terrorists.
Were dropped?
Dropped, dead. We're talking dropped, we say dead, right?
Yeah.
6,000 terrorists.
So the IDF did a good work then.
Did a good work dropping them after, but they did a really bad work stopping them getting inside.
And if I could ask you, how many people were dropped in your unit?
That day, 3.
That's nothing.
Don't forget we came a bit after the combat already started. We came around 5. So most of the main combat already was taken over from 6 to the fact that we came almost to 5. So we probably had, less prepared terrorists, tired terrorists, less armed, but they were there. I saw a lot of weapons.
On that bus ride, when you were heading to Gaza, did you know that you were going to get into battle?
Shit. So honestly, this bus ride was the longest ride I ever had. the longest. It's like crazy amount of pressure. And you think a lot about a lot of topics. You just don't want to think about the fact that you're gonna go to a battle in literally 10, 15 minutes from now.
Have you had the same thought in other battles or only in Gaza?
So my unit's job is basically Gaza in particular. In Lebanon, I did small things like back in 2019 when we found out it's called Operation Northern Protector, and we found Hezbollah's tunnels on the border of Israel. We found 9 of those tunnels, and my unit's mission was to destroy those tunnels.
So most of the action that you've seen, it's in Gaza.
Yeah, the biggest part.
And was it the first time you got into action, or you've been into action many times?
In this kind of scales, this is the first one. I've been shot at, over here, over there. Last August, I had terrorists under my house. Terrorists stabbed the old lady. 3 months ago, we almost had a crazy bus explosion in my city. Some of those from the West Bank made it all the way to the central part of Israel, and we booby-trapped few buses. So I'm used to the fact. I lived around it, even when I was a kid.
And what did you do when you saw that lady getting stabbed?
She was crazy. Like I came downstairs, and literally I happened under my window. The old lady is dead, punctured, a lot of, puncture wounds. The terrorist already got shot by someone else who had a pistol at that time. And it's the first time you think about it, it's like, shit, it's came to my house, it came to my home, it's happened here.
And were you thinking I should have taken them out myself or not?
You know what's funny? It was in the morning, it was 8 a.m. I came back from work, I had a night shift. And I was supposed to park in the same spot the terrorist did his attack. Literally, we missed each other by 5 minutes. What happened? I looked for a place I can park my car where I won't get hit by the sun. Nobody likes a hot car in the summer. So I drove the car around the other side of the neighborhood. And thinking about it, if I stopped the car over there and came out of the car, I was probably the one that take out the terrorist. We missed each other by few seconds.
By how long?
Few seconds.
Okay. And what do you think the IDF have not taken out Hamas completely?
Because Hamas is not only operators, it's ideology. And when the ideology is still alive, everybody can consider them as a Hamas operator. Everybody. Somebody can walk to their office and say, I want to be a Hamas member. And that easily you are a Hamas member. You need to kill the idea of that Israel is not the enemy, because we offered peace many times before. And until this education won't stop, there was never stop. Nothing will stop the war. Nothing will stop the conflict. Because my side, you can say, it's Israeli, you just say that. But my side, before October 7, was really accepting. Was really open to the fact that there was one day probably will be. Now it's dead. And I can give you even that. In Israel, in universities, people doing demonstrations for Palestine. You can go online and check that. You can see videos of Israelis who support Palestinians and got Palestinian flags in the University of Israel. And in a middle square in Tel Aviv called Kaplan Square, you can see people waving Palestinian flags. Show me one Palestinian who waves Israeli flags inside Gaza. If I was even one, I will say, okay, the world going through a different path. But there's not even one.
I have to say this, or maybe it's my own thought. The war in Syria, what happened in Syria with the Assad regime, I think that it really make you guys better. Why? Because you guys were having a tough time in Lebanon and Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
It's less fire on our backs, of course.
So why the IDF an army that is supported by the United States was having problems with Hezbollah and Hamas. They don't have as much money as you guys.
By the end of the day, when I come to a war, I am recognized as a soldier, right? I wear a uniform. I have to work by the international law. Some of the terrorists that I confronted with in Gaza Strip didn't have a uniform. Some of them wear sandals, Adidas shorts, and tank top. They grab the AK from a hideout, shoot at you, and as soon as the ammo runs out, they drop the AK and run away. This is how you're supposed to fight wars, dressed as a civilian, then hide inside a civilian population? Because I came dressed with a uniform, the Israeli flag, so people can recognize that I'm army, I'm a military. They don't play the same fair game.
But I've also heard that what Israel did is like you guys dropped so many bombs, like tons and tons and tons of bombs in like 2 years, equivalent to what United States did in Vietnam or something like that. Is that true?
Yeah, but don't forget the fact they also shot rockets, and we're talking about like 20,000 rockets that was shot. But nobody ever talks about that in the media. And when we shoot, we warn them. We warn the houses, we warn the buildings, leave the area. Did somebody warn Israeli citizens to clear out the area the rocket's been shot to? No one. No one. They could invest the money they got from Qatar in building smarter infrastructure, shelters for their own people, if they truly cared about their people. But instead of that, they only fueled up their war machine, so they can kill more Israelis. And Israelis, it's not only Jews. Israelis are Arabs, Israelis are Christians, Israelis are Druze and Bedouins, and Israelis also are Jews. That day, they came to kill everybody, no matter who you are religionally. It's who you are as a country.
If the Al-Assad regime didn't fall, do you think Israel would have won the wars in Lebanon and Gaza at the same time?
Honestly, the only thing who concerned us is, okay, Assad wasn't a friend of us, but you never know who will come after him. Is it worse or is it better? When they have their internal war, they brought a lot of fire off our backs because they were busy with doing their own stuff over there. Now you have an unstable regime over there and nobody knows what their true agenda is. Even if they say they don't have a problem to make peace with Israel, nobody can trust them or believe them. They're killing their own people.
Yes, but the fall of Assad helped the IDF kind of win the wars in Lebanon.
The only thing that's helped us is suspend any weapon deliveries from Iran to Syria into Lebanon, because we fully blocked the routes over there and fully destroyed the remaining of Assad's army, every artillery, tank, airplanes, and ships they had.
Did the IDF think that the Gaza mission was going to be easy or difficult?
Nobody thought it was going to be easy because everybody who served in the army knows what kind of things they put there in the last 10 years. The tunnel metro, the outposts. When I was in the first few days, I found a tunnel entrance inside a kindergarten.
Wow.
One of those days, we found an ambulance, the Red Crescent ambulance. We thought it delivers, drugs and medicine. We opened the back of it. It was AKs and RPGs and whatever you want. And this is the false view of civilian infrastructure for their terrorist cause.
Because apparently Israel used 100,000 terrorists just to get into Gaza, and Gaza is like the size of East London. Why so many terrorists? Sorry, why so many soldiers for a small place like that?
I will tell you something that my commander taught me. In a big neighborhood, you can hide a full platoon, but not even one tank. It doesn't matter how many people you send. Every place is big enough to contain all the people you need to send. In Gaza, it looks small, But don't forget, it's a lot of area you have to cover. A lot of area.
Do you consider the mission successful or not?
50-50.
So, which means that the IDF, the strongest army, one of the strongest armies in the world and maybe in the region, was not able to take on Hamas.
Not yet. Look, you also have to be, fully true about yourself. And if you did a mistake, you have to learn. We did 50% of the job. Our first mission is to bring the hostages back. Did we bring all the hostages? Not yet. We still have 59 hostages left behind that we need to bring. And there are still Hamas operators. The fact that what prevents us from fully attacking them and destroy Hamas is the fact we only are hostages. You cannot finish Hamas until the hostages are back.
Do you consider the mission in Lebanon finished or not yet?
Definitely finished. The only thing is left to do is to the civilians in the north come back to their houses.
Because you guys, there is like 60,000 civilians, settlers that cannot go to the north.
Yeah. And the mission will be ended when they will come back. They're not coming back because they're afraid, and I truly understand it.
So, personally, in the 3 out of 3, I would say that Israel has done maybe 2 out of 3. You guys have completely destroyed Gaza, like 80% of it, right?
It's not talking about destroying. Okay, so we destroyed Gaza. What does that brings us? Nothing. We wasted money on ammo. We wasted money on, logistics, artillery. Okay, so we destroyed 80% of Gaza. Did we accomplish our mission by the end of the day? No. Easily, no. Our mission is to bring the hostages back. If they gave the hostages back on the same day, nothing of that will happen. Our mission is not to destroy Gaza. We keep fighting because they're using the civilian infrastructure, and this is the result of what they do. If they give us the civilians, none of this will happen.
Do you think those hostages are dead or alive? What do you think?
Honestly, I think half are dead. Half are dead. I know my friend is still alive because Hamas released a video on a Telegram group called Gaza Now, showing him. He's really skinny, but I know up to the middle of last April, like 2 weeks ago, he's still alive.
What do you think will be the political situation in Israel after all of this is finished?
I think we need to punish the people who are, cover their eyes. There were people covering their eyes. Honestly, some of the people took it like it's not a threat. It's we can manage that. We can deal with it. Yeah, but it costs us a lot of lives too.
You mean to punish the Israeli politicians?
Yes.
But don't they send their kids to the war or not?
Some of them who sent their kids are taking my hat off. They took the part and fight for Israel. I respect them. Some of the politicians never did the army service. Some of the politicians, let's go to war. And the flick of their hands, sending soldiers to fight. Those fuckers need to be punished. I'm Israeli. But Israel comes first, not the politicians.
Captain M, this took like 1 hour and 17 minutes, man. I know you're a busy man, but thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. If you want, we can also have part 3 a few weeks from now.
Yes, we need part 3 as well, man, because there is a lot that we have to cover.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hope you have a nice day.
Thank you too.
Bye.